All right, welcome to the interview portion of Pup Life, the podcast unleashed. I am your host, Pugs Moran, and you know what we do here? We celebrate the life of a dog owner. We celebrate dogs. We celebrate what it is, the whole lifestyle. We like to tell you where you can hang out with your little buddy if you're looking for a place to go. We give you the latest tips on things that you need to do to keep your pal healthy. We talk about all the breaking news. That's right, we've been covering right here on this show this dog flu that seems to be a very serious thing. But one of my favorite parts of the pup life is connecting with other people who are living that pup life. We have a series we're calling the Dallas Quotable, Notable Man About Town segment. These are local icons, and today we couldn't be more happy than to welcome to the show from the iconic strokers of Dallas. It is, of course, Rick Fairless. Rick, thank you so much for joining us on Pop Life.
Hi, Pugs. Glad to be here, brother.
I can't believe I just called it Pop Life. Okay, so we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff because when I say you're one of these dudes, Rick, and please, if I embarrass you, just tell me to shut up and I'll back off. But you're one of these dudes. You're one of these what I call quotable local notables. You know, you're a guy that's been here forever. You are the founder, the operator, the face, the brand that is Strokers Dallas, and everybody knows what Strokers Dallas. Certainly, people in a certain lifestyle, and maybe, and I think wrongly. When I first moved here to Dallas, I thought, oh, that's one of them scary Texas biker bars. It's like that's what I thought. And so we've got Rick here to talk about another side of his life, which is his love and appreciation for his girls, his dogs. We're going to get into the whole Stroker story. But first, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Rick Fairless. Tell me about your girls.
Hey, Pugs, thank you for that canned applause. I appreciate that.
That's all we got around here. Let me ask you, before we get into all of the good stuff we're going to talk about, let me just share with our people. Oh, my God. All right. So what are we looking at here, Rick? Introduce me to your family.
You're looking at my dogs and you cut my wife's head off. I hope she don't watch this program.
Hold on. I did that out of respect. I did. She did not agree to come on this show. And you know how social media is. So
my wife and I have three dogs. So the one that you're seeing there on the far left of the screen is Ethel, and she is a registered Old English sheepdog. So Ethel was named after Ethel Mertz. You remember Ethel Mertz?
I sure do. Yeah.
You gotta love Ethel Mertz, right? Yeah. So Ethel is a she's our youngest one. She's 5, and she's the meanest one. She's being a registered Old English sheepdog. She's always trying to herd the other 2 dogs, and so we call Ethel sometimes Evil Ethel. And I even built a motorcycle around her called Evil Ethel.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just stop you right there. As somebody who I grew up with a friend who had a sheepdog, Charlie, and he was an amazing dog. You just described Ethel as being a bit aggressive. That is not a trait that I'm familiar with in sheepdogs. Can they be aggressive?
Yes, they can, but and I don't know. Yeah, I guess aggressive would be the right term. She wants to be the boss of the other 2. She wants to, when I'm calling them to go outside, if she's the last one to the door, she pushes her way to the front. So she's going to be the first one in and out that door every time. And if I'm in my room and say the door is, closed or 3/4 closed, she puts her head on it and shoves the door open. The other 2 won't. Yeah. But Ethel is more aggressive.
And she's the youngest, you say. She's the youngest and seemingly the alpha.
She's the alpha and she's the youngest. Yeah. So do you know who, in my opinion, the most famous sheepdog owner ever was? He had a sheepdog named Martha.
Who? Okay, now wait a second. I might be able to figure this out, but How much time are we willing to dedicate to it? So go ahead. Why don't you just tell me?
Paul McCartney.
Oh, yes. Famously, the song Jet from Wings, right, was written about one of his sheepdogs named Jet, I believe.
I think so. And I think that maybe was one of Martha's pups. I'm not sure, but yeah.
And is this Martha? Is Martha named after the Beatles song "Martha, My Dear"? Or
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I haven't researched it that far.
well, let's get on it, Rick. Don't bring half info to
Well,
me. I'm gonna have follow-ups, bro.
I got a guy that works for me that's a Beatle fanatic, and he'll be able to, and
All
he's
right.
also a dog guy. He'll be able to watch this and point us in the right direction.
Well, that's interesting because I want to do a segment on here where we talk about dogs from songs, and the Beatles did a whole lot of dog
They
songs.
did.
So,
They did. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, let's move on. So we've covered Ethel. Is this one Fred? Because we got an Ethel Mertz. Do we have who's
No.
this? Who's this
So
right here?
the Honeymooners, which is my favorite show of all time.
All right.
You remember there was Ralph and his wife Alice, and then there
Mm-hmm.
was Ed Norton and his wife Trixie.
Mm-hmm.
And so Alice and Trixie were best friends. So the one in the middle is my oldest one, and that's Alice. And then the big one behind them is Trixie. So those were
Oh,
the first two I had. So Alice is a sheepadoodle, which is good because she doesn't shed. So, but the bad part is when we got Alice, we had a husky, and the husky died, and we didn't want another dog because we didn't want to go through the pain. And then 6 months later, we decided we wanted another dog, so we got Alice. We took her to our vet of 20 years, and the vet said, "Get rid of this dog. She's going to be blind."
oh.
And they have a bad temperament. So my wife cried and cried and cried and was going to get rid of the dog. And I said, well, maybe God wanted us to have this little blind puppy. So Alice is now 11 years old, and she's probably 90% blind, but she gets around just fine, and she's healthy as she can be, and she has a really good temperament. The other two dogs will knock heads. Alice don't want no part of none of it. She does her own thing, and she's daddy's girl. She wants to hang out with me, and she can
So
care less about anything else.
so Alice right here, who
Yeah,
we're looking at, she's the one that's got the handicap. She's got some issues, but we're saying that Trixie and Ethel, they'll go at it from time to time, huh?
they do, and Ethel always picks the fight, and then Trixie will let her get her way till she's had it, and Trixie outweighs her. Ethel's about 80 pounds, and Trixie's about 90 pounds. So once Trixie figures out, okay, that's it, then they get into it, and it's an all-out dog brawl, and I have to grab one of them, and when I do, Ethel's ready to quit, but Trixie ain't. Trixie wants to keep going after her. It takes her a while to get mad, but once she gets mad, you got to pick her up and carry her out of there.
I was going to ask about that because you see this a lot in families with brothers and sisters, whoever who fight. You had identified Ethel as being the boss, the alpha, the one that wants everything her way. And as we see in real families a lot, the one who says they're the boss is oftentimes not the boss. Like if
Yeah,
it came down to fists being thrown, the one who's walking around like they're in charge could get their ass handed to them. And that's what you're describing to me here.
that's it. That's exactly it, Pugs.
All right. Well, there you have. Those are the sheep dogs of the Rick Fairless family. Now, what is it about sheepdogs? What drew you to them? Why?
You
Because you
know,
mentioned huskies. I'm a husky guy. I've
yeah,
had 2 huskies in my life. They are incredibly high maintenance dogs.
yeah.
They're mercurial dogs. Sometimes they'll just turn into jerks for no reason, and they're escape artists. But what is it about you in sheepdogs?
My wife and I were looking for another dog, and somehow sheepdog came up, but we wanted a dog that maybe didn't shed, so we wanted maybe a poodle mix. And so we Googled sheepadoodle, and we saw them, and they look great, and they have a good temperament. So we heard, and so my wife found a sheepadoodle out in West Texas, and went out and brought Alice home, and we liked her so much that we bought Trixie, and Trixie is a sheepdog lab mix, and she's great. And then we bought the full blooded one, Ethel, which is got the meanest temperament of the three. So we just like that breed. We like a bigger dog. Alice she's the oldest and the smallest. She's about 75 pounds, and the other two are 80 and 90 pounds. So we like that general size. And I don't know, they're great dogs.
Yeah, I'm not a dog. I'm not a sizist per se. Like I love all dogs, like even like little yappy dogs and little purse dogs with no hair. And I find them hysterical. They got such a chip on their shoulder, and it's like, why? But I'm with you. I'm a big dog guy. I've always gravitated towards a dog that's 70 pounds and more.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. And that's the thing is, I mean, we get so many dogs up here at Strokers. I love all kinds of dogs. And there's people that bring Great Danes up here, and there's people that bring Chihuahuas up here. And they're all really nice dogs. I have a dog that comes up here named Bailey. And Bailey is a male pit bull. And when he comes up here, and I carry right here, Pugs, milk bones. I have milk bones.
That's why you're so popular.
Milk bones in my office. And so I take a bunch of them home every night for my girls, and I keep some here so that when I see dogs are here, I always have a pocket full of milk bones. I just love dogs. And I think that that God did us a favor by creating dogs.
Yeah, we certainly are blessed to have them in our lives. They make life much better. You mentioned here at the place, we haven't even talked about strokers yet, and I do want to get into that. But before we do, just for the record, because we do a segment here on Pup Life called 5 for Fido, places to take your dog. You are a dog-friendly establishment, yes?
Yes, sir. So I own Strokers Dallas, which is my motorcycle shop. And I own Strokers Ice House, which is a bar and grill. And we are located on Harry Hines and Shorecrest, which is over by Love Field. And
yeah, for people looking for exact directions, 9304 Harry Hines, is that the right?
Yes, sir. 9304 Harry Hines. And we've been here for almost 30 years. And all dogs are welcome here as long as they're not skittish of motorcycles. And most dogs aren't, but every now and then one will be, or, a dog has to be able to get along with other dogs, but that most dogs do. So, yeah, we're dog friendly, and I love it when people bring in dogs. And when I see a dog in here, I go shake their hand and bring them a milk bone, and I want to meet the dog.
All right, so now I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit more about this place that we're talking about, because we're discussing strokers. That's why Rick Fairless is joining us here. Dog friendly. So if you're looking for a place to hang out, this is Strokers is certainly friendly for you to bring your dog with you. Now, the hangout, that's the thing. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how you've created, and I want to get the background story. When did it start? How long has Strokers been? Where did you come from? Because this is an iconic, what do you call it? Is it a saloon, a roadhouse? I know your biker building business and all that stuff is, certainly big as well. But I'm talking now on the bar, because people know Strokers, the bar in Dallas. I'm from Chicago, and I've had people say, "Yeah, man, you ever been to Strokers?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
Yeah, so we get people from all over the country. We've been lucky enough to do a bunch of TV over the years, and so people have got to know us, and we've done TV overseas as well. And we're 2.5 acres, so there's a big, huge patio, and the motorcycles park in the back, and that's where people can bring their dogs. They can bring them inside, but there's also a big patio that, as long as a dog is on the leash, they can wander around. But, I worked for the Glidden Paint Company for 20 years, from 19 years old to 39 years old. And I retired to open Strokers Dallas and Strokers Ice House, which I did in 1996.
Okay, so 1996, you decide you're going to wrap up your first act as a grunt, as a guy doing the man's bidding.
Well, I wouldn't really say I was a grunt. I was the #1 sales rep in the country for Glidden Paint, so I was doing pretty good.
You were doing well enough that you could chuck it all and decide to go ahead. So there you go. No disrespect intended, Rick.
I got you.
All right, so you have this fantastic second act. I mean, this is I've got to believe it's been more rewarding than the first few years you spent slinging paint, right?
It's extremely. And one of the other things that I do, Pugs, in full disclosure, is I'm also a motivational speaker. And I do a show on my Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, called In My Life, the 365 Project. I do it, and that was the point. I was going to do it every day for a year. And it's usually 9 to 10 minutes long. And I talk about different things, but part of it is get off the couch, a motivational minute, because what I believe is that if I can do something, if I can better myself, and by bettering myself, I don't mean by making more money. The money doesn't matter. It's your happiness, and I was doing great at Glidden Paint, but towards the last few years, I wasn't happy doing it. So I thought, what if I could make my hobby my passion? What if I could make my passion my vocation? And I thought, well, I think I can try it. And then I thought, you can try it. You got a lot to lose. And I thought, what sent me over was I thought I can always go back to work at Glidden or Kelly Moore or Sherwin-Williams or Jones Blair, or any of the paint companies would hire me because I had built up a good name. So I knew I could always go back and replace the income. The question is, could I make a living doing motorcycles and doing selling beer and hamburgers? And 28 years later, so far it's still working. It may end tomorrow, but it's still working now.
Well, look, everything changes, but what you've built is, as I said a number of times now, iconic here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. But nobody's ever going to forget. You hear people talk about the Bronco Bowl. You hear people talking about this and then the other thing. Nobody's going to forget Strokers if it were to go away tomorrow. Now it's not. What came first? What was the inspiration? Did you want to do the bike building and painting and all that stuff, or did you want to run a saloon?
We used to hang out with my buddies. There'd be 10 or 12 of us, and we'd always meet at my house. I had a house with 3 acres. I'm born in Dallas, but I've lived in Irving all my life. So I had 3 acres. So my buddies would all come over to my house, and I had a big garage, and we'd hang out and drink a few drinks and listen to music and work on bikes. And my dream was a motorcycle shop with a beer joint next to it, because it'd always be, hey, where do y'all want to ride to? Well, let's ride somewhere, get a hamburger and drink a beer. So I thought, wouldn't that be cool if you had a motorcycle shop and you had a beer joint attached to it? And I thought, I don't know if that could ever happen, but that would be so cool if it did happen. So I rolled the dice. Scariest thing I ever did, leave my job of 20 years, rolled the dice, and I made it happen, but the plan was both at the same time. But getting the motorcycle shop open was pretty easy compared to getting the permits and stuff needed to get a bar open in the city of Dallas, Texas. It took me a couple of years to get that. So 2 years later.
Also, and this is one of the reasons why I'm wondering, but this is one of the amazing things about Strokers. And I have to ask you how you did this, if it was just by accident or if there was a plan. But you are trying to open a biker bar. There are stigmas attached to that. There are things that people, automatically assume. Strokers is a biker bar, but it's not a biker bar. How were you able to do that? How were you able to keep it a place that regular people could feel comfortable and just be, enjoy the lifestyle, the biking lifestyle?
When I first opened in the mid 90s, the girls would, the thing back then that biker chicks did was they showed their boobs. Okay, so girls were doing that, and I'd go up to them and I'd say, listen, you got real nice boobs and all that. We don't want to see them. We don't do that here. What kind of biker bar is that? We're not doing that. My mom works here, my wife, my kids. We're not doing none of that here. So I wouldn't allow it, and then bikers love to do burnouts.
Right.
I don't allow that either. We're not that kind of place. We're more of a family oriented place. And now you come up on the weekends, my grandkids are running around here.
Yeah, I have friends who live up in Prosper and up in Frisco and out in Grapevine area, and they make pilgrimages to your place on their bikes on a beautiful day. It's they look forward to it. If they don't watch football, they come to your place and have a beer.
Yeah, it was cool. Yesterday I went to lunch, I came back, I'm driving my old 57 Chevy pickup truck that's all graffitied out. And I pulled up, and these guys came up waving to me, asking if they could take a picture. They were here from Italy. And the guy said, "Oh, we've seen you on TV in Italy. You're famous in Italy." And you know how proud that makes you, that somebody that doesn't speak your language very good knows who you are, and that it's very humbling. Another quick story. Yesterday, I was at the doctor's office at UT Southwestern, right down the street here on Harry Hine. Walked in there. I was at a doctor that I hadn't been to before. The lady said, "What's your name, sir?" And I said, "Rick Fairless." And about that time, the elevator door opened, and a guy walked out, and he was blind, and he had a guide dog, and he was wearing the dark glasses, and he had his wife with him. And the lady said, "What's your name, sir? What's your last name, sir?" And I said, "Fairless." And the guy stopped, and he said, "Rick Fairless." Rick Fairless, right there. I can't see you, but I hear you. I'm a big fan. So I'm taking pictures with the blind guy in the doctor's office.
That's fun, and that's all well earned, man. That's sweat, equity, and love in the place. Nationally, you've been on TV. People recognize you because I think it's we talked about how you were able to sort of navigate this tricky line of bar ownership. It's because you put the good stuff out there. You're a good, decent guy. You chose, see, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at you. I'm like, he chose sheepdogs because he looks like a sheepdog. You are a sheepdog of a human, Rick. That's a compliment.
That's a compliment. I'm taking that as a compliment.
There you go.
Where did the name Pugs come from?
Well, okay, that's good. It's a baseball nickname.
Let's hear that one.
It's a baseball nickname. It's a derivation of the name Pudge, which was the nickname for Carlton Fisk. And then, of course, Pudge Rodriguez here in town. Catchers are typically called Pudge. One of my early days on the radio as a kid in Chicago, the host was doing a bit on nicknames. And he looked at me and he said, "You got any nicknames?" And I said, "As a kid, my nickname was Pudge." Well, he misheard me. And he heard Pugs, and that became Pugsley. And for 10 years on Chicago radio, I was Pugsley. So that's where it comes from.
They had that old saying that a dog is the only thing that's going to love you more than it loves itself. And that's true. That's true. When I come home, my dogs act like they hadn't seen me in 3 years, and they just go nuts. They want to all jump up in my lap, and it's a fight to see, who's going to get dad's attention. It's wonderful.
I can tell you as a man who lives alone, who is a divorced man who lives, I have a nice life. This is not a sob tale, but I can tell you that there is no way to quantify how important my dog's love for me is.
Yeah.
There's just, if it was gone, Rick, we got to wrap it up here. Our guest has been Rick Fairless, the iconic owner, proprietor, bon vivant, man about town of Strokers, Dallas. Strokers, of course, I don't got to tell you folks, 9304 Harry Hines. Legendary, right there to the what is that, southwest of Love Field, if you're in that area. There you go. Rick, anything in closing? Thank you so much for giving your time to us here at Pup Life.
It's my honor, and I love dogs, and we're a dog friendly place, and I'd love to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Fairless, Strokers, Dallas. Pup Life. I'm Pugs Moran. We'll be back with more after this.